What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Automotive Training News with your host, Mr. Richie Bello. I'm your co-host, Eric Nichols. Today's sponsor is the Game Changer Conference in Miami this December, hosted by Mr. Rudy T, Mr. El Patron himself. Today, we have Veterans Day coming up soon, so today we want to talk about our programs in support of our dealers. We have Mr. David Castillo back with us. David is the Director of Veterans Affairs for the Richie Bell Institute of Leadership and Management, and he is joining us today from Skype. David, what's going on, buddy? How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Glad to be on the show. Thank you for having me.
Always, buddy. Always a pleasure.
So, David, we got some of our trainers that are flying out on the 17th to do content for the vets. You know, Monday, I had 3 dealerships from this local market area that I'm involved with ask me about when is this going to be ready for the vets. And El Patron is really helping out too. He wants to know when it's going to get going and all that. So we have the dealerships, and I believe to get them started, it's going to be a real simple process. They're going to go online training. Once I place them in a dealership, I'm going to do live training with these corporate trainers. I mean, like Brandon, John Fairchild, you know, the list goes on. There's some guys I can't mention yet, but as of right now, I have 2 trainers that are really top notch. I mean, I don't know if you guys see that on my Facebook. Brandon has been posting a lot of stuff on my Facebook. Did you see that?
Yeah, Brandon's got a ton of content out there nowadays.
So, I mean, Brandon's really, really good. I know Brandon for a long time, and who doesn't know Brandon that's in the car business really doesn't know nobody, because the guy is amazing. I've learned from this guy so much throughout the years, and I love talking to him because he's a forward thinker, and he's always getting to the next level in training, and he's unbelievable, you know. So I've learned a lot from him. He's been a mentor to me for over 8-10 years, something like that, right, with my old company, and he's really, really good. And John Fairchild's another mentor. He knows there's nobody out there that knows the fixed ops like he does. There's big companies out there in fixed ops, you know, that dealers hire, you know, and they're really expensive. What's beautiful about John Fairchild, he's in your dealership showing you how it's done and doing it. There's a lot of different things in training. Where I believe a trainer has value is what he actually does it, not by having the content. There's something called owning the content, and there's something is when you buy the content. You go a copywriter, somebody go online and buy any courses, and now it's not your content, so it doesn't come out of your head, right? So once you know it, it's because you did it, right? And that's what I'm about. I'm not about somebody with a nice course and all that. I mean, some guys have content is so nice, you like it twice, you know?
Yeah.
So it's not about that. It's about what really works. Somebody can write beautiful stuff, but when you put it to work, you find out it doesn't work, right? And we're about trial and error, and consistently, A/B testing consistently, right? So that's what we're about. And with adding you to the whole thing, to the mix, I know you're a trainer, a process trainer in another industry. So the beautiful thing about you is you're a vet, you're a great guy, you're an amazing human being, right? Second of all, the other thing is, I mean, everybody out there knows that I'm Latino, right? A Cuban American, so I really love helping out my own, you know, and I really like to bring in somebody that's a vet, that's Latino, well-fasted, well-known, process training. I mean, it'd be a great automotive car trainer because we have the people to do that. But the biggest thing I want to talk about is the vets, you know. The vets are coming in from their services, coming in here. There's a lot of data on veterans that we have. You know, they go into this marketplace, they come back, you know, and they can't find a job. And then the job they find usually doesn't work for them because they go from one to the other to the other. So there's a whole process that a vet needs to get, the debrief process. It's very important to sit down a vet before he goes on our platform and debrief him. Apart from doing an assessment on him, it's great to do an assessment, but you got to get a debrief session, because they can fill out a form to how they think that they can work it out, right? And once they debrief you, in that debrief process, you really get to know them one-on-one.
Yeah.
Or on the phone. What are your thoughts on that process?
Sure. So whenever we have a veteran that does get out of the service recently, I've shared before that we go through a period of time that we're adjusting back to the civilian world. In the military, we are in a very fast-paced environment. Whether it's a wartime effort or a peacetime effort, we are always on the go. In war, of course, we're prepping to deploy to make sure that we are taking care of our allies, care of everything that is needed of it. During peacetime, we're training to make sure that we are always prepared. So in that transition period, it's key to make sure that we find out exactly what's going to work for these veterans. The veterans have particular needs, particular wants in their pace and the type of work that they want to get into. So by doing this process of pre-screening, making sure that they qualify, making sure that this is something that they're actually going to want to do in the long run, it's going to give us a much better result in the end. And as far as the training goes, the training is spot on. Like I said, we have fantastic trainers that are in support of this program that will be working with the veterans, and they're all world class. So it also adds up to it's going to be successful. It's going to be fantastic all around.
No, and listen, as a veteran myself, I really appreciate the fact that you were appointed Director of Veterans Affairs for the Institute. We've spoken about before in the past, but tell me a little bit about your background and how you started even getting into helping out veterans.
Of course. So I am a Marine veteran. I served 9 years in the Marine Corps. I've traveled all over the world in both wartime and peacetime efforts. And I know exactly what these guys have gone through. In the Marine Corps, my primary MOS was to be an aviation mechanic. However, I did do other duties as well, including security duties. I'm a martial arts instructor, and eventually got into the whole process and process improvement realm. I trained over 2,000 people in Lean Six Sigma and proper use of maintenance equipment, in leadership development, and the transition as well. Making sure that you're prepped financially, making sure that you're prepping your resume, making sure that you're lining up your ducks so once you do get out, the transition is easier. Once I left the Marine Corps, I moved into the technology sector and I worked for a semiconductor company. And in there, I was a trainer as well. I trained personnel on safety, OSHA requirements, leadership development as well, and started doing a lot of human resources work. Once I finished there, I moved into the financial industry as a trainer still. Training has been my whole life since I was 18 years old. So I know the importance of getting that message delivered appropriately and making sure that the training is actually effective. Like you were saying, Richie, if we want training that is spot on, making sure that these guys do take a lesson of it. My goal is to make sure that they walk out knowing at least a few more things than they did when they came in. That's just going to make them a better person. In the financial industry, I trained salespeople, I trained operations personnel and compliance personnel. And now I'm here working with Richie to help veterans because that really is a passion of mine. I mean, I've been there. I know what these guys are going through, and I really want to help in any way I can. And I think this program is a fantastic way to do it.
No, I agree 100%. So today's automotive industry is always looking for recruitment and also retaining good candidates. With veterans already representing 1 in 5 employees, it's really amazing how large the workforce is out there that's made up of veterans.
Right. And the veterans, you're going to get a very great quality employee, first of all. In the long run, if you hire enough veterans, you do start getting other benefits from the government as well. You could get veterans preference to hire more veterans, and it's going to make the company itself, of wherever they're hired, a much better organization as a whole.
No, I agree. And, you're ultimately going to retain these people longer. And with that being said, that's one of the key things that plagues the automotive industry is such high turnover. It's something like, 70%, Richie, that all employees turn over in a dealership?
Well, yeah, and what's happening today is, even though there's a lot of trainers today, what's happening today, a lot of dealerships, it's very expensive for them to train anybody, right? So they look at, let me spend more money in marketing, right?
Yeah.
And let me just play the numbers game, where we've come up with a solution. Our team has come up with a solution. The last 3.5 years, we got a whole infrastructure involved in it. We'll train them and we'll put them in your workforce. That's why we developed a nonprofit, Our team did that. And you know what? What's really interesting about that is, having that, now we've become a recruiting platform fully trained. Not like an Indeed or these other job sites. Okay, great. So these people are looking for a car. So what are the chances of them staying in a dealership when you have a trained professional? Well, your ratio goes really, really high.
Yeah.
That's what we bring. That's the product that we bring into our industry, right? Our industry, I've been in this industry for a long time, and I've been seeing the difference, right? From 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago till today. And why is that? Consumers are still the same, but the information out there and the knowledge out there is different.
Yeah.
So it's the same objections. It's just converting the information the consumer has and spinning out a deal. So now, if you are in a store, you got all this information coming in, you don't know how to deal with an objection.
Yep.
So that's what's happening in the car business. Well, years ago, there was no information out there. So it was really a numbers game, Okay, I saw 10 people, I'm going to sell 3 cars. Today, I'm in stores in and out, and I just listen sometimes. Oh, my God, today it's all about the information. The salesperson sharing it back. Before you know it, nobody's even asking for the business because everybody's so concerned about that, not dealing with the objection, Simple. Agree and overcome. Listen to the wants and needs, and now put a deal together. That's it. It's that simple. It's not something that difficult to do. So having this platform with this team we've created, now we're going to train professionals, right? And Mr. Dealer, here's the other value that people don't see. You have a salesperson. The beautiful thing about this business, it's a lot like the military. Why is it a lot like the military? You got to follow direction. You got to follow process. But not only that, your ranking goes higher. You start as a salesman, and you can move up as a manager. You can move up as a finance manager. You can move up as a general manager, a general sales manager. Not only that, you can work for the factory.
Yeah.
You can go to Honda. You can go anywhere. So the industry has rankings. So now you have, part of our process is, now you have a salesperson that we've trained. That salesperson is successful. Before you decide, he sells 35 cars, what every dealer does, right? He sells 35 cars, let me make him a manager. No, give us back that veteran and let us train him to become a manager. If you want him to become a trainer, Brandon has a course that's train the trainer, right? So we have trainers in our platform that are top notch, that are the best, you know? That's what they know how to do. So now you want to make somebody a sales manager? Let's do an assessment together, Mr. Dealer, and let's figure out how that person, let's find out if he's management material. He might not be management material. I got to say something about me. I sold a lot of cars that made me a manager. I wasn't really management material. I was a salesperson. That's who I am, a salesperson. I'm not a guy that sits back behind the desk and write. I don't like it. You know, I was a manager, general manager, but I didn't really like it. I'm not a detail guy. I'm nothing. I just go meet the customer and just do what I do. A lot of people are like that. I always rather sell cars than become a manager because I made more money than the manager. So who cares about being a manager?
Yeah.
You know, I'm not really interested. The guys that want to be a manager, they can't sell. And dealers, pick the guys that sell less cars, right? Because they sell less cars because they have leadership in them. They always worry about the other salespeople. They always try to help. So look for leadership first. That's what makes a good manager. So we have people in our team that are very, very talented. Just because you're a good salesperson doesn't mean you're going to be a good manager and doesn't mean you're a good leader, because we all care about what's in it for us. That's what a salesman does. WIFM. So with the vets, It ain't just about placing them. It's also about placing them and seeing them grow into another department, into a management department, into growing, or maybe even their own used car dealer or their own dealership. That's what the Institute's about. It ain't just about training them, putting them there, and then that's it. No, it's about coaching them consistently, coaching that dealership consistently, and moving them up to where they're going to be successful, right? And what does that add? That adds enthusiasm. That adds a learning curve. All these things that we're doing creates more productivity, because now that salesman goes there and he sees he's got the opportunity, and now you're building a team, Mr. Dealer. Let this institute with this wonderful team, I call it the dream team, I'm a very lucky person, with this dream team to make this get to the next level, to make your employees get to the next level. Having somebody that's a coach and having somebody that's a mentor, it keeps moving the needle and keeps moving. Now your productivity is going to go off the walls. So that's something to think about. Dealers say, I'm going to promote him with no rhyme or reason, no assessment. And let me talk about Brandon. The beautiful thing about Brandon is an HR. He's an HR trainer. He's a sales trainer, HR trainer, CPO. This guy has so much knowledge and is facet in every division in the car business. The guy worked for Ford as a professional trainer. You know, the guy has turned so many dealerships around, and that's the beautiful thing, because first you got to have an HR to find out if that candidate is even qualified to be what he wants to be, you know? So we have psychologists on the team also, you know, that really analyze stuff and really know their capacity. So we have all these resources and all these tools for us not to fail. You can't help failure, okay? You're going to fail with certain people, but at least we're minimizing our failure. The one thing about business and the one thing about training is all you can do is minimize your failure. You're always going to fail. Yep. Because if you don't fail, you're not going to win. You're always going to fail. But when you have a process like the one we've developed with David, the process, Gene Fontana with the process, Brandon with the process, you know, and all these people that have process, John Fairchild, this whole team has a whole process involved. So now we're gonna, when we hit something, we're gonna hit something straight up. Like, we're not gonna miss. You know, I say it like this. It's like me sending a Scud missile to this building. It's gonna blow up the whole building. Me sending a Scud missile, an Intel missile to this building, it's gonna miss the whole building and hit me and blow me out. And that's what we're trying to do. And marketing's the same way, you know. Everything you want to be precise, right? And once you promote to be precise, and you have the right team and you have the right process, you're only going to succeed much more. You're always going to fail. Those people that think you're not going to fail, you're wrong. You're always going to fail. Failure is something great, because if you don't fail, you don't learn, okay? So, and we have, not only do we do training and we put them in the dealerships, but now we build a relationship with that salesperson. You know, it's just like when you sell a car. You're not selling a car today to sell a car, see you later. You got to build a relationship with that customer, because that customer is going to be with you 3 years. These veterans are going to be with us forever until they leave the automotive industry or hit the lotto.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's what we're committed to. So, Mr. Dealer, you have the upper hand on this whole process. The upper hand for you is you have a professional company that's a training company that has tremendous amount of talent in it. But not only that, we're going to help move that vet, and we're always going to be looking at productivity. So when we bring in a vet to your store, trust me, there's going to be 100 reasons why he's going to succeed and 10 reasons why he's going to fail.
Yep.
Okay, so just keep that in mind. David, I want to talk to you a little bit about something. How do you see the program working for these vets with what you know about it? And how do you see that whole thing working out?
In the long run, I think it's going to help a ton of veterans get from, that void or that empty space that you have after you leave the Marine Corps, and really shorten down that time. It's going to help people put their priorities straight. It's going to help them get acclimated to the civilian world much faster, and it's going to help them out all around. I mean, they're going to be making good money as long as they're applying all the techniques that we're teaching them. They're going to be able to, like you said, get promoted just like they would in the military. They're going to be able to experience different things, and if they want to eventually open up their own business, open up a dealer, a body shop, offer different services, it's going to make them much more successful once they do leave the military. So this program is fantastic. I can't wait to get it started and really get these people involved and into the dealerships themselves. It's exciting. It's awesome.
I agree with you. I mean, it's pretty obvious to everyone out there that this is why veterans really are a perfect fit to support the automotive industry. So let's go with a couple other things. So, we always talk a lot about veterans and why they are there, with the discipline, how they appreciate the jobs and everything else. I think really the biggest thing for any veteran out there is knowing that you have the structure in place, that you just got done like yourself. You did 9 years, I did over 5. You're coming out of something that's been drilled into you day in and day out, where it's going to be a set process. And that really goes into the training thing as well. Training is one of the largest things out there for the automotive industry. Me and Rich, you talk about it all the time, that's lacking is proper training. The reason why veterans do so well in any career path they do is because they're trained. They know a process. They keep going forward. So we just spoke a little bit about management. Sometimes the best sales guy always isn't the best manager, so on and so forth. But it really goes to ultimately one thing with any dealership. Right now, the auto industry across the nation is experiencing a slight downturn. We've been hearing it from a ton of different dealers that leads are off, traffic's off, services are off, everything is off. So what does that mean for you? It means that you have to be disciplined enough to be able to go in, know what the processes are, and close more, be able to retain that service customer while they're in there, and follow the set process. Without the process, there's just, the only word to use is havoc. There's going to be chaos going on. And that process starts, and let me repeat this time and time and time again. If the managers do not follow the process themselves, if the managers are not trained properly, or if they don't, inspect what they expect from the salespeople. If they, it doesn't matter if they trained them once, trained them a million times. If they're not going in and saying, okay, great, why are you not doing it this way? And they just let it go by the wayside, it's a problem. So the managers should be the first people to be trained, and they're the first person that you should inspect as a GM, as a GSM, as an owner, dealer principal, whatever, to make sure that they're following the proper process.
And, you know, that's what's great about this team that we've developed. It's about process. And David is really good at process.
Yeah,
you know?
very good.
He's a process trainer, you know.
Very good, yeah.
For his industry, you know. And he's been doing that for, how long have you been doing that, David?
I started doing process training in 2008, so a little over 10 years now.
10 years. So he's very good with process. And that tells me something. He's a vet, okay? Now, what does that tell you? They're process driven, okay? What do you want in the automotive space? I mean, process driven. Eric's out in Apple Honda. He's really good at what he does. One of the things that Eric has is process.
Yeah.
He drives, he's driven by process, right? That's how he's turned that department around. That's how he's turned that company around, because it's about process, you know. Let's face it, there's follow direction and follow your process. Once you follow those two things, are you going to fail? Absolutely. Are you going to succeed more than you fail? Absolutely. So, but if you don't do that, that's what happens. Those guys that don't follow a process, right? However they can follow. If they follow it in their head, great. If they follow it on paper, great. If they follow it on video, great. Doesn't matter. If you don't have a process to do anything, you're not going to succeed. You know? And that's what bottom line is. And the more people that I meet that are vets, like Eric, like yourself, a lot of them are all 90% process driven.
Yeah. Why?
Because that's what the military's about. Why? Because when you enlist somewhere for 4 years, you're getting trained, all right? If in the automotive space, dealers would train 50% of what the government trains, we would have a rocking industry. I just had a meeting here in the studio with a company that they sell products, right? Well, they have no training program in place. They don't have anything like that. I mean, and they're saying, is the price right? Is it wrong? What about researching? You got to research first. Then you go to market. I mean, 4 years, okay? I want everybody to listen out to me. This institute has been in the works for 4 years. There was a lot of research that we did before we went to market. We have the data, what each salesperson costs a dealership,
yep,
right? And how much training top organizations do, and what is the product, and what is the information about. So it took 4 years before we hit the market. Now we're going to the market. Just understand something. If you don't have that kind of infrastructure in your company,
yep,
I call that the 90-day to a year wanderer. Because in 90 days or a year, you wonder where they went. And there's so many vendors that come into this space and say, oh, the car business is so big, I'm going to sell. No, you're right, you are going to sell. But you're going to be effective. That's the thing. Are you really going to be effective in selling? Or you're just going to hit or miss and go to 100 dealerships and sell one? And that's not what you want. You want to maximize your opportunities. In our company, what we do is we don't chase the dollars. We chase the opportunity. The opportunity was helping our vets, okay, bringing them into the automotive space. That's the opportunity. It doesn't matter what you make or you don't make. What matters is there's an opportunity, let's go after it. And if you do that process, that's a process. If you do that process, you're always going to be on top of your game. All right? That's why I have game face, right? Game face is being on your game. Put your game face on. If you don't have a game face, you ain't going to win. Because you know what your competitors do. And the beautiful about the vets is everyone I've met has been like that. In Arizona, I had an opportunity to meet the best artist I ever saw. right? His name's Jose, okay? He has a process that is like a machine. When he sees a customer, he takes a full intake of what they're looking for. He writes everything down. He sits down in the office, does a whole process, a whole thing. Another one that I saw, I met another vet that he does landscaping. As landscaper, he also has a big process. He doesn't even go when he gives you a number. No, first he got to analyze. First he has a process how he does things. The other guy installs, what do you call that they're using now? Solar energy. He has a process, very successful. So the few vets that I've met are process driven. Why?
Sure.
Because that's what the military trains on. So this is perfect for the automotive industry. That's what we saw, right? We saw, wait a minute. There's two things in the automotive business, process and direction. And we got guys and ladies that follow this down to the T. Down to the T. So their failure ratio is very, very low. Because when you start in the automotive business, if you don't follow a process, am I right, Eric?
Yeah, 100%.
You don't follow the process, you got problems. And if you don't follow direction, if a manager tells you, put them on this car, you start arguing with them, you got problems. The Penske Group out in Arizona, the desk tells the vets, do this. They change them. They do anything they tell them to do. They follow direction with happy to follow it and yes, sir. In the car business, you don't have somebody with that kind of discipline, you got problems. And another thing is the vets have the best CSI, customer service satisfaction. You know why? Because it's with respect. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
You know, to put
Absolutely.
it, simplify with everything we were just talking about, the Institute offers training and recruitment programs for our veterans, which should give the dealer what is needed to get good personnel while saving you, listen, a ton of money, a ton of turnover, and ultimately it's going to make you more profitable. You know, the Institute runs ads for veterans to enroll in the program at no cost. How do they find these ads? How do they get on the website? Where do we go to send veterans to find out more information?
Well, we're setting up, we have pages, right? If you go to Richie Bello West /University, but that page is getting developed in the next few days. I believe by Monday it'll be all said and done. We already worked on the landing page. We already did the design work and everything. I mean, Synergy did that. Tremendous company. Let me tell you guys, if you guys are doing marketing, you don't call Synergy, you got problems.
Yep.
And you can ask El Patron what he thinks about Synergy, right? It's unbelievable how they write stuff, how they make everything look perfect. Great team over there. It's really, really amazing, all right? They write my show here. I mean, G Fontana writes the show with her team. We just got a research department. I mean, who's ever doing a live show, if you don't have that kind of layout, like everybody knows that I don't follow direction, but I have always a co-host that puts me in check because I have a hard time reading. I'm dyslexic, you know, what can I do? But I try my best to follow. But if you're really good, you know, if you're a lot good, you can have a show perfectly. Just reach out to Synergy. You know, it's all over Facebook and whatever. But reach out to me. Everybody knows my number, 631-578-9018. I make sure you have my number everywhere.
Well,
because my kid the other day lost his phone, and he says, I couldn't find nobody's number, and I Googled you, and your phone was there. Yeah.
You know, we talk about the veterans going to you. There's definitely a page that they can go to find research. Now, what kind of assessments are required when a vet reaches out to you? Do we do assessments with that? How does that work, David?
So with the veterans that are interested in applying for this, we are going to have them fill out a form that's going to ask information about their service. You know, how long did you serve? What branch were you in? What was your rank? What was the type of discharge? And a few other questions that will get submitted, and that will be like our pre-qualification stage. Once I receive that, I will personally reach out to that person, that individual, and have that conversation to dig more into the history, see what it is that they're trying to get into, and see if we can place them in the correct program to get them going in the industry. The process will be very quick. I mean, as soon as I get it, I will be reaching out, and they'll be going through that website that Richie was talking about.
Right, and not only that, let me just say about the enrollment. On the website right now, you can go on and there's an enrollment form there. We're just making a new feel and a new design because, you got to update websites. The website's about 3 years old, 4 years since we started. So we're just making a new design. But let me share something with you. In an enroll, right there's an assessment, and that's going to go right to David, and he's going to take a look at it. Then he's going to dispatch it the right way, because that's what he does.
Yes.
And it's there already. It's not like we got to make it. It's there already. We already did it. We did it 3.5 years ago. We set everything up in this institute 3.5 years ago, ready to roll. The investment was made a long time ago, and now it's just about, okay, now we're ready for the market.
Yep. So
we do things like, let's get it ready for the market, and now let's see what's going on, because we know that this is a well-needed stuff. We want to do the right thing for the vets. If it wouldn't have been a nonprofit, then it wouldn't have been up. We would have first did research, but we knew already when we got into it that this was going to be something that was going to have a really big impact in the automotive industry. So it's really important, and it's really important to have a veteran like David, there, because he knows. I mean, he's a vet. He really knows what's going on, and he was 9 years in the military. That's a lifetime, that's a long time. So he understands the vet. He likes helping out for the vets, which is really important. And, and now we have an industry that needs a product, and we have the product. So hopefully we can make a difference in this industry.
Just so you guys understand, we're not just training for sales. You're training for sales, service, F&I, management, basically parts. Any department that a dealership needs a candidate for, we'll help you find one. But more importantly, dealers are going to get a guarantee that if the candidate does not make it through the first 3 months performance review, we'll send you another replacement. We'll find the right candidate for you. This program is launching January 6th of 2020. Can you believe it's 2020 already? Oh my God, I can't believe how quick it went. We already have dealers that are putting in requests for candidates. There are currently a couple going through, being trained right now, I believe. Richie's been going through that, and David as well. You guys are doing a phenomenal job. David, what are your thoughts on the importance of why this program is going to succeed and ultimately help dealerships?
Well, like I said before, the veterans are very great people. They are process trained. They are used to that fast-paced environment. And all that just sums it up to be successful in whatever it is they do. We want them to get them into the automotive industry because it is a fantastic field to be in. There's many opportunities available, and these guys can take advantage as long as they follow that process that we're training them in, which so far has been fantastic. The people that are going through are picking up what we're putting down very quickly. They're immediately trying to put those things to practice, and that's what's going to get us the most result. The actual application of those lessons, it's going to be valuable to the dealers.
Listen, as always, we have David Castillo, Director of Veterans Affairs for Richie Bell Institute. We want to thank you for coming on today. Happy Veterans Day, my friend. I know it's a couple days away, but we appreciate your service, and thank you as always.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for being there.
So listen, right now, Richie, you want to spend a couple minutes thanking our sponsor, Mr. Rudy T, Mr. El Patron himself.
Yes.
For making this episode possible.
So here's the thing. Rudy has got a tremendous event. El Patron has a tremendous event. Let me tell you something about this event. This event is top-notch. There's no reason why Vendors are not sponsors. And dealers, I would just go and sign where we need to sign. Now, let me tell you another thing, okay? Dealers, call Rudy. Get on it. Go online. GameChangerCon.com is a tremendous, I'm so impressed with what he's doing. He's like unbelievable. And here's the thing, right? There's a lot of these, let me just say this, all right? There's a lot of conferences going around and everything. The difference is that he does what he does every day. That's 6 days a week, okay? So am I going to get more value going to his event versus another event that's got all these vendors with great speaking and all that? And that's great. What's the difference? I always look for something that's the same product. What's different? Okay, so the difference is that he does it every day. You go to an executive coaching thing and all this, and that's great. What kind of business are they? Always doing it all the time. A lot of these guys have 30 COOs. They have this, they have that. They're not really, they're just the face, okay? Rudy's just not the face. Rudy does it every day. You have an opportunity to follow his footsteps and go with him. Call him and say, listen, I want to spend a day in your dealership. I want to know what you do. Why are you so successful? So let me just tell you, and the numbers don't lie. The numbers are there. Mitsubishi store, top guy. Come on. And where was that Mitsubishi store before him? That's what you need to see. So that's what makes him different. Me as a business owner, that's where I'm going to send my people.
Yeah, you're going to go to the conference, like we always say. If you go and you learn one thing and take it back to your dealership, that's going to make the difference. That's ultimately the whole point of the show. We always say that, take one thing back. You're going to learn more than one thing, I can guarantee you that. So listen, we always... I almost forgot to put it out. We have the Christmas party December 4th, Richie Bella's Christmas party.
Right.
All are invited to attend. It is free to dealers, free to everyone going. Guys, come on down. It's going to be a great networking event. You're going to, kick back, relax, meet some people you haven't met before, go through different industry standards that we're going to go through. What do you got on the Christmas party, Richie?
I got a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of vendors that are going to be there, like Sure Sale. Barry's going to be there from that appraisal company that he's got.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of vendors there that are going to be there. So, if anything, you can meet these vendors. You can talk to them, see what they're doing in other parts of the country. Talking to a vendor is great because you know what your competitors are doing and why are they doing this and you're not. That's what it's about. It's like a really, really tiny conference,
Well, you forgot about our other sponsor venue, ShopSmartAutos.com.
Right. Oh, and here's the other thing, guys. I want to say this. Shop Smart Autos. Okay. What is the difference of that website versus all these other websites? I tell you what the difference is. First, you got an app. The app's going to be installed within 7 days, I believe. It's going to have the inventory on an app. Okay. Then it got a comparison tool for your consumers, right? Okay, but what's really the value? The value is that this is going to be promoted on social media through one of the best companies out there, which is City Twist, right? And it's going to hit custom audience, buyers in the market through IHS filters, okay? Conquest sales. You guys want to sell more cars? Conquest, this is where to sign up. And what's important, it's going to be on social media. And guess where the audience is today? On social media. Now, instead of going to Google and spending all this money on Google, it's going to be through social media. And now we can transfer what we're going to do a little bit about Google, more about VIN specification is what we're going to do, right? But it's about hitting direct consumers in the market. Using that technology with the VIN Google AdWords is great because those customers are also custom audience. So now we're going to be using that plus your custom audience on social media. Guys, that's where the audience is.
Yep.
You know, and we're giving you a tremendous value on this. So there's a lot of ways that we can put on a dealership here. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Try it. You'll really see the results, and then you can really go to the next level. All right? Call us at, what's the number of Shop Smart?
You can call 631-946-1418. I'll have the 800 number up on the bottom of this comment in a couple minutes.
Right. So that's where you reach out. You call. You can also go online, advertise with us.
Yep.
And the other thing with this is because we're in the veteran world, also, we're going to be promoting this website to vets that are in the market, okay? So there's all kinds of data out there. So we're going to be promoting it to our veterans. The other thing is we want the dealership to participate as a certified dealership for vets and give them a good deal, you know, because the vets are really important to us. So that's the other thing, right? So we're going to have a discount for veterans. So listen, this site's going to really, really take on your dealership to the next level. And we're going to throw something in for your website. Everybody knows Rudy. He's really, really good. Well, Rudy's willing to do a trial assessment on your store, and so is Eric. Eric's going to do a full assessment about lead gen in your store, how many leads you're getting and what your closing ratio is, and how are you responding to those leads. So,
yeah, BDC process is going to be a big thing. We're going to look at, you know, I'll give you an initial view 10,000 feet above ground and say, hey, here's what's going on. Here's how the lead was handled. And, you know, give you some critiques that might be able to help you bring some more people in and ultimately make more money. You know, that's really what we're here for. There's not any other company that's out there that's willing to give you an assessment like that and help train you on how to properly handle those leads that are coming in. More importantly, also handle the leads that you're getting in general. You know, we want to wrap it up today. Today's show, we had a great show with Mr. David Castillo, who, again, Director of Veterans Affairs, Richie Bell Institute. We also want to thank everybody for putting together the Game Changer Conference. We have such an exciting lineup of speakers and vendors that are going to be going there, and it's really going to help set us up for 2020 and the next decade. Again, Richie, we appreciate everything you do with the veterans. This is Eric Nichols and your host, Richie Bell, saying see you next Wednesday live.
What up, guys? Patron here. What's going on? New decade's around the corner, man, 2020. So I want to invite you to the Game Changer Conference in December 13, 14, and 15 in Fort Lauderdale, okay? You want to come to this conference, okay? I'm going to have the #1 motivational speaker in the world, Eric Thomas. You know who he is, okay? I also going to have Alex Vetter keynote my conference, guys. This guy's his company's worth over $80 billion. So these are the people that help me, okay, take my business to the next level. I turned around 6 dealerships already, over $500 million in sales. I'm going to give away $100,000, and one lucky winner is going to get 25 grand. So all you got to do is pretty much sign up for free. And let's get 2020. So BDC, sales, service, parts, we're going to disrupt the industry in 2020. It's 2020 vision, guys. Now is the time to make it. It's the best investment you're going to make. Okay, one sale will pay for it. So it's no big deal. So sign up, all right, and let's do this, all right? See you guys in Miami. Peace. Guys, I got the cash right here, man. We got a little change from the house left over, you know what I'm saying? So you got to come get this money, man. Let's go. Sign up for free. I'm giving it away at the conference, so let's go.